Okay, so let's talk about cloud-based AI and ML. Basically, instead of building your own complex AI systems from the ground up, you can leverage powerful services offered by companies like AWS, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure. These platforms give you incredible flexibility. You can easily scale things up or down as needed, and it's generally much more affordable than buying all the hardware yourself. Plus, they're designed to be really user-friendly, even if you don't have a ton of ML experience. They offer pre-trained models and helpful API that let you build your AI projects way faster. Okay, let's talk about the big players in the cloud AI/ML game for 2025: Amazon SageMaker, Azure Machine Learning, and Google Vertex AI. These services are all incredibly powerful, but they each have a slightly different approach. When it comes to ease of use, Azure ML tends to be very intuitive, especially if you're already familiar with Microsoft products. SageMaker is fantastic for those who are deep in the AWS world because it integrates really well with everything else there. And Vertex AI from Google. It's designed to be super simple and streamlined, perfect if you're looking for a managed experience. Finally, let's consider scalability and cost. All three platforms can scale as your needs grow, but optimizing costs can sometimes get complex, especially with SageMaker. Ultimately, the best choice will depend on where you already are in the cloud and what your team is most comfortable with. Okay, let's start our journey into building an AI project on AWS. We'll be focusing on Amazon SageMaker, powerful service that simplifies the whole process. First, we need to get your data ready. This usually means uploading it to S3 and then cleaning it up so it's suitable for training. Next, you can either use one of SageMaker's pre-built machine learning algorithms or bring your own custom model. Once trained, you deploy the model as a real-time endpoint, which is essentially making it available for others to use. Finally, we monitor performance and automatically retrain the model using SageMaker Model Monitor, ensuring it stays accurate over time. Okay, let's talk about getting models out of the lab and into action with Azure Machine Learning. It's all about making this process as smooth as possible. First, you can quickly prototype your ideas using pre-built environments or customize them exactly how you need. Then, the service automatically scales up the computing power needed to train your model, so no more worrying about running out of resources. Finally, deploying is a breeze with continuous integration and deployment pipelines, ensuring that your models are always updated and reliable. Okay, let's dive into building a complete machine learning pipeline using Google Vertex AI. This tutorial walks you through the entire process from getting your data in, preparing it, training your model, deploying it for predictions, and even monitoring its performance. We'll start by uploading your dataset to Google Cloud Storage. Then we'll use Vertex AI Feature Store or build custom feature engineering steps. Next comes model training, where you can choose from pre-built containers or build your own. Once trained, you'll deploy the model as an online prediction endpoint. And finally, you'll set up monitoring to keep an eye on how well it's performing over time. You can find more detailed documentation for Vertex AI on Google Cloud's website, a great resource if you want to dig deeper. Okay, let's talk about the top 5 AI and machine learning services we're seeing gain traction for startups and enterprises in 2025. First up is Amazon SageMaker. It's a really powerful all-in-one platform that can take you from initial model development to full-scale production. Next, Google's Vertex AI offers similar capabilities, leveraging Google's expertise. Microsoft Azure Machine Learning remains a solid choice, especially if you're already invested in the Microsoft ecosystem. Databricks Lakehouse is becoming increasingly popular for its ability to unify data warehousing, and Lake's great for complex projects. And finally, Weights and Biases is fantastic for teams that are focused on experimenting with different models and tracking their performance. These services represent a diverse set of tools to help you harness the power of AI. Okay, so let's talk about AI orchestration tools. They are essentially the central nervous system for your entire artificial intelligence setup. They take care of everything from getting your data ready to training your models, deploying them live, and even keeping an eye on how they're performing over time. It can be a huge headache to manage all those steps yourself, but these tools really streamline things, making the whole process faster, more reliable, and easier to scale as your AI needs grow. Okay, let's talk about Kubeflow. It's essentially a toolkit that makes running machine learning projects on Kubernetes much easier. Think of it as a conductor for your AI orchestra. It brings all the different pieces together. At its core, Kubeflow is built upon Kubernetes, so it automatically handles scaling and reliability. It has several key components that work together to manage the entire process from getting your data ready to deploying your trained models. Let's talk about automating your AI lifecycle with Azure Machine Learning's managed pipelines. Essentially, these pipelines take care of all the heavy lifting, moving your models from development to production and keeping them running smoothly. You don't have to manage servers or complex configurations. Azure handles that for you. They streamline deployment, automate orchestration, and even monitor model performance, triggering retraining as needed. It's a huge time saver and helps ensure your AI solutions are always performing at their best. Let's talk about SageMaker pipelines, a really powerful tool in the Amazon ecosystem. They're essentially your automated ML workflow manager. Think of them as a visual builder where you drag and drop different stages like data cleaning, model training, and evaluation. You can even automate parts of this process without writing tons of code, which is great for people who aren't expert programmers. They handle all the dependencies between these steps, so things run smoothly and predictably. Plus, they offer robust monitoring tools to keep an eye on your pipelines and catch any problems quickly. Okay, so today we're talking about streamlining your machine learning projects with Vertex AI pipelines. Think of it as a central hub for managing the entire ML lifecycle from getting your data ready to actually deploying and monitoring your models. Google's Pipeline Builder is super intuitive. You can literally drag and drop different steps like data cleaning, feature engineering, training, and evaluation. It automatically handles versioning, so you know exactly what's going on with each stage of your project, which makes it much easier for everyone involved. Okay, let's talk about how we manage these increasingly complicated AI and machine learning workflows. We've got three major players in the orchestration space: Airflow, Kubeflow, and MLflow. The core challenge here is that getting data ready to train a model, training the model itself, deploying it, and then monitoring its performance, all of that can become incredibly complex. Airflow specializes in scheduling and orchestrating workflows, particularly good for batch processing and creating data pipelines. Kubeflow takes things a step further as an MLOps platform, essentially managing your entire machine learning lifecycle from training to deployment within a Kubernetes environment. Finally, MLflow is focused specifically on tracking experiments and managing the lifecycle of your models, making it really useful for individual researchers or smaller teams who want to keep a solid handle on their model versions and performance. Okay, let's talk about getting your AI models out into the real world. This slide outlines the key steps involved in setting up a production-ready pipeline using AWS SageMaker. It starts with prepping your data. SageMaker Data Wrangler is a fantastic tool for automating this process. Then you train your model, perhaps leveraging SageMaker Studio or notebooks and optimizing parameters to get the best results. Once trained, you deploy it as a real-time endpoint, choosing the right instance type to handle your traffic. It's crucial to monitor your model's performance with Model Monitor and set up alerts if things start going wrong. Finally, automate this entire process using CI/CD tools like CodePipeline. Think of it as building an automated conveyor belt for your models. Okay, let's talk about getting your awesome AI models out into the world. With Azure Machine Learning's managed online deployment, you can easily turn those trained models into reliable, scalable services. Basically, it takes care of all the heavy lifting, scaling up when there's lots of traffic, keeping things running smoothly, and even handling updates without you having to lift a finger. It's a fantastic way to ensure your model is always available for users to access. The process is pretty straightforward. Train your model, register it in Azure ML, create an endpoint with managed online deployment specifying what kind of compute power you need and how much capacity you want, and bam. Azure handles the rest. You will get monitoring and logging tools to keep tabs on performance, and the documentation linked up there is a great resource if you want to dig deeper. Let's talk about keeping your AI models running smoothly. Vertex AI monitoring features are fantastic because they don't just check on things once, they continuously assess performance. It looks for drift, which basically means the data your model is seeing has changed, and that can impact its accuracy. When drift happens, Vertex AI automatically kicks off a retraining process. You set the rules, so you decide when it's time to update, saving you a lot of manual effort. And it doesn't stop there, it provides real-time data on all those key performance indicators, like accuracy and precision, giving you complete visibility into your model's health. Let's talk about AutoML, automated machine learning. It's like having a super smart assistant that handles much of the work involved in building an AI model. Cloud platforms offer these features, drastically reducing the time it takes to get a model up and running, especially if you don't have a huge team of data scientists. AutoML can take care of things like cleaning your data, finding the best features, and even tuning the parameters for different models all automatically. However, it's not a magic bullet. Sometimes the algorithm might not be perfectly suited to your specific needs, and understanding *y* it shows a particular model can be tricky. So, while AutoML is incredibly helpful, always keep in mind its limitations and make sure you have good quality data to work with. Okay, let's dive into how these different AI platforms stack up when it comes to costs. Amazon SageMaker uses a flexible pay-as-you-go model, charging you primarily for the IOs your instances are running, plus separate costs for data storage and transfers. Azure Machine Learning also largely relies on IO-league compute charges, but they have managed endpoints which can simplify things. Google Vertex AI offers competitive hourly pricing for its compute resources, along with a unique model deployment cost based on prediction requests. It's really important to remember that these are just estimates, so always check the official pricing pages of each service for the most accurate details based on your specific project and needs. Okay, let's talk about streamlining AI development. Traditionally, getting a new model out the door could be a real bottleneck, lots of manual steps and potential for errors. Cloud-based AI services like SageMaker pipelines, Vertex AI pipelines, and Azure Machine Learning offer a huge advantage. They've essentially built entire CI/CD pipelines into their platforms. They automate things like data checks, training runs, model evaluation, deployment, and even monitoring, making sure your models keep performing as expected over time. This means faster development cycles and more reliable AI systems overall. Okay, let's talk about connecting MLflow to the big cloud providers. Basically, we want a single place to manage all our machine learning projects, regardless of where they run. MLflow does this brilliantly by keeping track of everything: your code, data, settings, and how well your models perform. It makes it super easy to repeat experiments or roll out new versions. And because you're using cloud services like Azure Machine Learning, Google Vertex AI, or AWS SageMaker, you automatically get access to massive computing power when you need it. Each provider has its own way of integrating with MLflow, but generally involves using their respective SDK and tracking interfaces. Think of it as a bridge connecting your local ML experiments to the cloud. Okay, let's talk about getting your AI models trained with great data. A huge challenge in machine learning is collecting and preparing the training data, specifically labeling it. Traditionally, this meant a ton of manual work, which can be really slow and expensive. But thankfully, cloud-based tools are changing that. We're seeing platforms like Labelbox, Scale AI, Amazon SageMaker Ground Truth, and Google Cloud Data Labeling Service all offering scalable ways to automatically label your data. These services use clever techniques, including active learning and even some AI assistants, to speed up the process dramatically, reduce costs, and generally make building better AI models much easier. Okay, let's talk about building a smart AI strategy that doesn't get locked into one cloud provider. A multi-cloud approach using AWS, Azure, and GCP can really level up your AI game. It gives you flexibility in terms of cost, lets you pick the best tools for each specific job, and makes your system more robust overall. You'll want to make sure your models work well on all three platforms, maintain consistent security policies, and use orchestration tools to keep everything running smoothly. Think Kubeflow or MLflow. And don't forget about monitoring. It's key to ensure your models are performing as expected. Let's talk about keeping your AI model safe, fair, and compliant when you're using cloud services. It's not enough to just build a great model, you need to think about how it's being used and who it's impacting. Data privacy is huge. Make sure you're protecting sensitive information with encryption and strict access controls. Bias can creep in, so regularly check your models for unfair outcomes and address it early on. Then there's explainability. Understanding why a model makes a particular decision is really important, especially when regulations require it. Constant monitoring to catch performance drops or changes in the data. We call that concept drift, and keeping detailed records of everything from data sources to model versions are all crucial parts of building trust. Okay, let's talk about automating those often complicated AI workflows. Building and managing them can feel overwhelming. Data prep, training new models, evaluating their performance, then deploying them, it's a lot. That's where Airflow comes in. It acts like a conductor, orchestrating all these steps based on dependencies. And we pair that with the power of cloud platforms like AWS SageMaker, Azure Machine Learning, or Google Vertex AI, giving us access to massive compute and storage resources. Essentially, Airflow manages how things get done, while the cloud handles where they happen. Okay, let's talk about building a recommendation system using AWS SageMaker. Think of it as helping users find what they love: products, movies, or anything else. The first step is gathering and cleaning the data we'll use to train our model. This could be things like past purchases, ratings, or even just what items a user has viewed. Next, we'll train an algorithm using SageMaker, either one of their pre-built options or something custom we create ourselves. Once trained, we deploy this as an API endpoint so it can give recommendations on demand. And finally, we make sure it scales automatically to handle lots of requests and use CloudWatch to keep an eye on how things are performing. SageMaker really simplifies all of that, making it easier to focus on building a great model. Let's talk about keeping track of your AI models. Vertex AI Model Registry is like a super organized library for all the different versions of your ML models. It automatically tracks every change you make, whether it's new code, updated data, or tweak settings. You can also add lots of helpful information like where the model came from and how well it performed. Crucially, it gives you control over who gets to use which version, ensuring everything is secure and traceable. It's all about making sure you know exactly where your models have been and what they've done. Okay, let's talk about optimizing your machine learning model, specifically the process of tuning hyperparameters. Cloud-based AI platforms really simplify this. They offer several techniques to help you find the best settings for your model without spending ages manually tweaking things. You've got grid search, which tests every possible combination in a preset range, good if you have a relatively small space. Then there's random search, which randomly tries different combinations and is often much more efficient than grid search when you're dealing with lots of hyperparameters. Bayesian optimization uses smart probabilities to guide the search, focusing on promising areas. And finally, gradient-based tuning, which leverages information from the model itself, is useful for certain types of models. A few key practices can make a big difference too. Start by exploring a wide range of initial values. Define what you're trying to improve: accuracy, precision, recall, whatever's important. Use early stopping to cut down on wasted computation, and most importantly, take advantage of the built-in HPO features offered by your chosen cloud provider. It really streamlines the whole process. Okay, let's talk about feature stores. Think of them as the central hub for all your data used to train and run your AI models. They are like a really organized database specifically designed for machine learning features. Instead of each model having its own copy of the same data, which can lead to inconsistencies, a feature store keeps everything in one place, ensuring consistency across training and when you actually use the model to make predictions. It handles transforming that raw data into usable features so it's always ready to go. Plus, they help with tracking where your data came from, making sure it's reliable and accurate. Some popular choices out there are Feast, Tecton, and even AWS SageMaker feature store, each offering slightly different capabilities. Alright, let's talk about keeping your AI models running smoothly once they're live in production. It's not enough to just build a great model, you need to constantly watch it. We're focusing on monitoring, really digging into things like how quickly predictions are being made, latency, how much data we're handling, and most importantly, whether the quality of those predictions is still holding up. We want to catch problems early. Cloud providers have some fantastic tools that take a lot of the guesswork out of this process. Things like Amazon SageMaker Model Monitor automatically looks for changes in your data that could be hurting performance. Google AI Platform Prediction Monitoring and Azure Machine Learning offer similar capabilities, letting you track everything from accuracy to potential biases. Essentially, these tools help you proactively identify and address issues before they impact your users or business. Okay, let's dive into building a simple text-to-image service using Cloud AI. We'll start by outlining the core components. We need something to take our text prompt, a powerful model to actually create the image, and then an API that connects everything together. Essentially, you have a user who gives us their idea in words, and we turn that into picture using AI. This process involves sending the prompt to Vertex AI, where it's handled by a diffusion model like Stable Diffusion, which generates the image. Finally, we return the URL of the new image back to the user. Let's talk about getting insights from your models. Cloud-based AI services offer two main approaches. First, we have real-time inference. It's like asking a question and getting an immediate answer. Think of an image being analyzed for objects in seconds, or a chatbot responding instantly to your query. Then there's batch prediction, where you feed the service a large amount of data all at once, and it processes everything and delivers predictions back to you, perfect for tasks like generating reports or scoring lots of leads. Let's talk about serverless AI deployments. They're a really smart way to get your models into action. Basically, you don't have to worry about setting up or maintaining servers yourself. The cloud provider takes care of all that for you. It's especially useful when you don't have tons of requests constantly coming in, like maybe if you're running some batch processing. Or if your model needs to kick off based on an event such as a new image upload. Serverless AI deployments can also be great for quickly testing out and building new models because they're so much less overhead. Okay, let's talk about keeping your AI safe up there in the cloud. Cloud AI offers amazing potential, but it's crucial to remember that security is a top priority. We need to protect our models and all the data they use. A good starting point is encrypting everything, both when it's stored and when it's moving around. Next, make sure only the right people have access to your data, using role-based permissions. Versioning your models, keeping track of changes, and regularly scanning for vulnerabilities are also vital steps. Finally, consider masking or anonymizing sensitive information where you can, protecting privacy while still allowing AI to learn. Okay, so let's talk about how long it takes to actually train those AI models we're building. The good news is that cloud providers have made huge strides in this area. AWS SageMaker, Google Cloud Vertex AI, and Azure Machine Learning all offer different speeds. Generally speaking, smaller models can be trained within a few hours on these platforms, but larger, more complex models take considerably longer, potentially 24 to 60 hours depending on the size of your dataset and how you set things up. It's really important to remember that these are just estimates, though factors like model complexity, data size, and even the specific instance types you choose can all significantly impact training times. And a cool tip, using spot instances from AWS or similar options with other providers can help you save money on your cloud bill. Let's talk about managing those intricate AI/ML projects. Often they're made up of a whole bunch of steps: getting the data in, cleaning it up, training models, checking how well they perform, and then launching them. That can get pretty complicated. Kubeflow Pipelines is like a smart engine that takes care of all of that for you in the cloud. It makes sure your work is consistent, scales as needed, helps teams collaborate, and lets you keep tabs on everything happening along the way. Great for spotting problems quickly. Okay, let's talk about keeping those AI/ML cloud costs under control. It's super important. First, make sure you're not throwing around massive instances that aren't needed. Start small and scale up as necessary. Then, explore spot instances for tasks where a little interruption isn't a big deal. They can save you a ton. For predictable jobs, reserved instances are your friend. And finally, utilize auto-scaling to automatically adjust resources based on how busy things get, so you're not paying for idle time. Let's talk about getting those powerful large language models running smoothly in the cloud. First, you need to pick your LLM. Think GPT-3 or PaLM, for example, and decide if you'll use an existing API or maybe even fine-tune a model specifically for your task. Then choose a cloud provider that's strong with AI services like AWS, Google Cloud, or Azure. The good news is these platforms offer managed deployment options which really simplify the setup process. Finally, it's crucial to scale your deployment as needed and monitor performance. Things like how quickly responses come back are important too. Essentially, cloud-based AI platforms handle a lot of the heavy lifting behind the scenes, letting you focus on building amazing applications. Okay, let's dive into some of the most important cloud AI services you absolutely need to know about in 2025. We've compiled a top 10 list. It's constantly changing, so stay tuned. First up is Amazon SageMaker, which gives you everything you need for building and deploying machine learning models from start to finish. Then there's Google Vertex AI, a really powerful, unified platform. Microsoft Azure Machine Learning is another solid choice, and IBM Watson Studio is great if you're looking for collaboration tools. Salesforce Einstein brings AI directly into your CRM. SAP Conversational AI allows you to build chatbots. Oracle Data Cloud helps enrich data for AI projects. Hugging Face Inference API lets you tap into pre-trained models. Cohere Generate provides powerful text generation API. And finally, Databricks Lakehouse platform offers a complete environment for processing and machine learning. It's an exciting time in the world of cloud AI. Keep exploring. Thank you for watching.